Today I'd like to introduce you to a new feature from Logic.io called sets. And to do this, we're going to handle a few use cases around selling software. So to start, I want to focus your attention down here in the purple box. A set, what is a set? It is actually asking the same question or offering the same number of inputs some number of times for which you may not know how many number of times you need to offer it to your user. So in this case, I am going to offer additional services to my user who is buying software. And as I go through this, you'll see that I'm able to choose a bunch of different options, so high availability perhaps, and automatically the price gets filled in. So I only have two inputs in this record, options and price, and I can add more as I go. Say I want single sign-on LDAP, and I get an automated price. Now a rule is actually running to identify the price as soon as the user selects the option. Now I've got a few other interesting things that an administrator can offer a user. Say I want to put something in between these two, as if order mattered. I can actually add a new record inside and choose another option, and the price populates. I can also, say I've actually done this a couple of times, let's add one more at the end, and choose clustering for perhaps. And at some point, maybe I want to edit something in the middle of my set, not on the end or at the beginning. I can now choose to delete or add an option below the existing one that I've actually just chosen. So this effort gives me a lot of different opportunities as a user to put things where I want. So let's now move on to a different part of software selling, and let's talk about the implementation. Here we have a situation where I am asking about the different implementation options the customer might want. And I have a set here that is outlined in implementation, asking me, do you actually want to have third-party implementation, in-house standard implementation, or customized implementation? And I'm going to select customized implementation. And with this, I will get another set below that gives me another bunch of options. So hit yes, and it's going to say for your custom implementation, what kind of resources do you need? Well, I'm going to definitely need a project manager. And as soon as I hit the project manager, I have another set down here that is populating, and you'll see more as we go. So I'm also going to need an implementation engineer, an integration engineer, and a QA. So I have now increased my set to 4 different resources, and you can see that I can actually choose a bunch more. Now this is an opportunity with sets where I don't know the full extent of the number of times I'm going to need to repeat these questions. In this case, we're talking about resources, experience levels, locations, and number of hours. But I, as an administrator, can actually give my user the ability to modify these as the project requires. So as I go through, say I'm going to determine what kind of project manager I need. I'd like them to be somewhat senior, know what they're doing, and I can choose what location I want them to work from. It would be easiest because they're going to have a bunch of customer contact that they be in the US. And I'm going to determine the number of hours. So I'm going to give them, say, 40 hours. And as I add these hours, get rid of this really quick, you'll see that a rate is populated and a total price is populated. And in the set above, where I chose the customized implementation, you can see that the total of customized implementation is going to sum all of the different individual resource totals. So as I go through, My implementation engineer, I think I can take at associate level. I'm fine offshoring this, so let's go Asia Pacific. I'm going to need 80 hours, and I all of a sudden have a rate, and it's done my price calculation. I will continue on, and I probably need a principal integration engineer. It's filled in my rate. Um, I would like that to be US based, but if I look at the rate and price, say it's a little bit high, I can actually choose another option and look at my different rates for the different regions, and I can determine a region that works for me. And if this integration engineer, I probably need 40 hours of him, that will update the price here. And you can see that it is continuing to update the price up here with the total of all of those prices from the bottom set. And then finally, a QA engineer. I'm fine if I have a senior and if I outsource it with APAC, and I'm going to need 80 hours of that resource. You can see that, as I've done before, I have the same rules that are actually applying. It's calculating the rate, it's calculating the price based on the number of hours, the location, and the experience level, and it's able to put a total in the prior set. So this is a little bit more complicated of a set use case where we are calculating implementation costs based on the different types of resources and where they are located. I hope this gives you a quick understanding of what you can do with sets. Of course, uh, you have plenty of opportunities to bring this into your product and solution configuration, and we look forward to seeing what you can do with it. Thanks.